State Bank of Vietnam adjusts US dollars interbank rate. Vietnamese e-commerce highlights in 2014 and prospects for 2015.
Hello, this is Hướng from Hanoi, and good to see you again on another episode of BeastLine. As usual, we'll start with several highlights in the economic scene for the past week. National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng cut the ribbon to inaugurate Terminal 2 at Nội Bài International Airport, Nhật Tân Bridge and the road connecting the bridge and the airport on January 4th. The key projects were constructed with investment from the Japanese government's Official Development Assistance, or ODA, and the state budget. The total investment amounted to $1.87 billion. The Nhật Tân Nội Bài Road, named after General Võ Nguyên Giáp, will help halve travel time from Hanoi to Terminal 2. Nhật Tân Bridge will also help deal with traffic jams on the Thăng Long Nội Bài route and reduce travel costs from the center of Hanoi to adjacent provinces. The nearly $1 billion four-story Terminal T2 has an annual capacity of serving 10 million passengers. The State Bank of Vietnam officially increased the dong-dollar interbank exchange rate by 1% on Wednesday, January 7th. This is the first adjustment of this year. The interbank dong-dollar rate will increase from 21,246 Vietnamese dong to 21,458 Vietnamese dong per US dollar. Within an allowable band of 1%, the ceiling rate at commercial banks will be 21,673 Vietnamese dong per US dollar, and the floor rate will be 21,243 Vietnamese dong. This move is part of the State Bank of Vietnam's efforts to stabilize the foreign exchange market and make the exchange rate reflect changes in the domestic and international financial markets. Regarding this latest move of the State Bank of Vietnam, foreign banks held positive comments. According to HSBC, the adjustment was earlier than predicted, but not a surprise as the US dollar has strengthened against other major currencies. The Vietnamese dong US dollar exchange rate has hit the ceiling for the last couple of weeks. Meanwhile, ANZ Bank had a similar view, adding that 3 consecutive years of trade surplus and increases in FDI inflow have repositioned the Vietnamese dong compared to other currencies in the region. The euro hit a 9-year low during Monday's trading, with $1 exchanged for 1.186 euro. The European Union is Vietnam's largest market for the shoe and leather industry, so the devaluation of the euro might affect these businesses. However, according to several enterprises, since most euro-denominated contracts were signed in September and October, their businesses have not been affected. Textile exports to the EU only account for 10% of total export turnover, and the contracts are mainly denominated in US dollars. That's why these businesses have not been affected by the devaluation of the euro either. However, if this trend continues, Vietnam's export activities might take a hit. The State Bank of Vietnam has permitted the National Money Printing House to produce gold bars and gold souvenirs. This is in addition to its traditional task of printing paper currency, minting coins, and producing other currency papers. The National Money Printing House will also be allowed to create molds for minting coins and design paper currency. The new function follows a recent decision of the State Bank of Vietnam, which amended and supplemented articles on the organization and operation of the National Money Printing House. Prior to this regulation, the Saigon Jewelry Company was the only company allowed to produce gold bars for the central bank. Retail petrol prices were cut for the first time in 2015, falling by 310 Vietnamese dong per liter from 4:30 p.m. local time on January 6th, according to the Vietnam National Petroleum Group, or Petrolimex. Following the reduction, petrol RON 95 now costs 18,170 Vietnamese dong, or $0.85 US per liter, while petrol RON 92 cost is 17,570 Vietnamese dong per liter. Diesel and kerosene prices were also cut by 360 Vietnamese dong and 290 Vietnamese dong, respectively. Following rambutan and dragon fruit, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has given the go-ahead for imports of Vietnamese lychee and longans. The decision is a tremendous opportunity for Vietnamese fruit exporters despite huge challenges posed by the demanding food safety and hygiene requirements of the United States market. The Vietnam Plant Protection Department, in collaboration with domestic fruit export companies and irradiation plants, have already completed the conditions set by the U.S. Plant Epidemiology Control Authorities to export the fruits. Vietnamese enterprises are planning to export longan by air and by sea in large quantities. Those are the economic highlights for the past week. Up next, we'll talk about the challenges and opportunities that Vietnam has as it enters the global e-commerce market in our crosstalk. Vietnamese e-commerce sales are expected to hit more than $4 billion in 2015, according to a recent report by the Vietnam E-commerce and Information Technology Agency, or the VESITA, under the Ministry of Industry and Trade. Although the figure is more than double that of 2014, experts say Vietnam's e-commerce market is still underdeveloped compared with its potential. In our crosstalk this week, we will discuss the current state of the Vietnam's e-commerce market and the outlook for the 2015 with our special guest, Dr. Nguyễn Văn Thoan from the Vietnam E-commerce Association, or VCOM. But before we hear from him, let's take a look at the following clip.
Vietnamese e-commerce experienced a boom in 2014, with revenue rocketing to $2.2 billion, a rise of more than 300% from $700 million in 2012. According to the Vietnam E-commerce and Information Technology Agency, Vietnam ranks 7th in Asia and 18th worldwide in terms of internet usage. Of its population of 90 million, the country currently has 41 million internet users and 30 million online shoppers. In 2014, one of the most notable efforts by the Ministry of Industry and Trade to boost e-commerce was the first ever Online Friday event, offering discounts for over 3,000 products from 1,000 businesses and generating $2.7 million in revenue. E-commerce is also an attractive sector for investors. In 2014, the German firm Rocket Internet poured an additional $250 million into Lazada, which operates throughout Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, the Vietnamese giant Vingroup recently announced the establishment of the $50,000 e-commerce company VinEcom. In December 2014, 3 Japanese enterprises jointly invested in Sendo JSC, which operates the e-commerce sites 123more.vn and Sendo.vn.
Well, thank you very much for joining our program. First of all, e-commerce is no longer a new concept to the management, the consumer, and enterprises in Vietnam. And Vietnam's e-commerce market has not only made a lot of progress in terms of quantity, but also quality. What Vietnam's e-commerce market has gained so far?
E-commerce in Vietnam has developed over the last 10 years since we have electronic transaction law passed by National Assembly. Up to now, nearly 10 years, we see a lot of progress in terms of quantity and quality, especially in 2014. The number of business using application of e-commerce increase every year. Up to now, we have about half of business number applied email every day, and they have e-commerce website for electronic transaction. Besides using the website for e-commerce transaction, they move to the next level using the government services online like tax declaration or custom declaration, even in import-export. A lot of transaction transaction is used provided by the government, and about more than 10% of business using e-marketplace, and more than 30% of business using marketplace evaluate that the government transaction is useful and effective for their business. In terms of quantity, business now focus on specialized application of IT in their management or function inside the business. Nearly 90% of business using account software, nearly 60% of business using human resource management software. And recently they moved to 3 key important applications of IT and e-commerce in their management and production, from managing their supply chain with e-supply chain management software and enterprise resource planning, and also customer relationship management. About 26% of business are considering using these three key of important software packages in their management and production. They also tend to connecting the information system with their partners, even with their suppliers and customers, to improve and collaborate to improve the efficiency of production efficiency and providing the services with higher quality.
Foreign investors have invested hundreds of millions of US dollars into Vietnam's e-commerce market. So what are the reasons why they are so interested in this market?
Our market is quite potential because in terms of internet user and smartphone user, we have about 36% of population is using internet quite regularly. With a population of about 90 million, we have quite big market, potential market for that foreign investor can see. About 30 million internet user, less than 50% ever purchase something online. So we have another 50% very potential in the eyes of foreign investor. It shows a chance over 10 years that in foreign investor started to change the form of investment into the market. In the first early years, they only buy the stocks. About 20 or 30% of the leading companies in Vietnam, and now they change from indirect investment to direct investment by setting 100% of foreign invested capital companies in Vietnam.
Small and medium retailers are also looking to expand their online sales. To assist these transactions, many solution providers have been established over the past few years. Established in 2012, TMĐT.vn offers online listing space for fast-moving consumer goods. Retailers list their products on the website, and the company will process the order and provide a logistics service.
Thực ra những cái đối tác mà lên sàn ấy, thì cái mong muốn lớn nhất của họ là bán được nhiều hàng. Đó, bán được nhiều hàng thì đi siêu thị giúp họ là một cái kênh phân phối trực tuyến chuyên nghiệp. Đấy, và một kênh lớn, có một cái tập khách hàng lớn rồi. Cái mong muốn của đối tác thì đi siêu thị đã đáp ứng được cái phần đấy, tức là mang lại khách hàng cho đối tác và mang lại doanh số cho đối tác, và cái lớn hơn nữa là giúp đối tác cắt giảm cái chi phí doanh nghiệp, mang lại lợi nhuận lớn hơn cho đối tác.
In addition to its brick and mortar facilities, the store also uses TMĐT service to expand its online presence. After customers place an order on the website, the store simply packs up the order, which the website's employees will pick up and ship directly to the customer.
Và chúng tôi kỳ vọng rằng là ngoài cái việc mà phát triển theo cái kênh truyền thống là kênh mà khách hàng đến tận nơi, thì mua hàng qua mạng và bán hàng qua mạng là một cái kênh phát triển tương đối tiềm năng. Và thực tế cho đến thời điểm hiện tại thì với cái doanh số của 10 cái cửa hàng của F5 Fruit Shop thì 60% đến từ những cái doanh thu online. Và chúng tôi tin tưởng rằng là với cái sự phát triển và cái sự thích ứng của người tiêu dùng Việt Nam thì mua hàng qua mạng và bán hàng theo cái mô hình của đi siêu thị là một cái mô hình sẽ thành công trong thời gian tương lai.
Solution provider DKT's main product is BizWeb, which helps the company's clients establish an e-commerce websites and assist with logistic needs, including payment and shipping. Listings and orders can be easily managed through the website and the mobile app. The company currently has over 5,500 SME clients.
Tâm lý của người tiêu dùng ở Việt Nam chưa sẵn sàng mua hàng trên mạng do cái lòng tin người ta chưa thực sự tin tưởng rằng là tôi có thể yên tâm khi mua sắm trên internet. Chính vì để giải quyết cái điểm mấu chốt này thì các cái đơn vị tham gia vào thương mại điện tử có rất nhiều thứ phải làm. Thì khách hàng của chúng tôi là các cái đơn vị bán lẻ và các chủ cửa hàng. Chính vì vậy chúng tôi phải làm thế nào để giúp họ hạ thấp cái rào cản ứng dụng thương mại điện tử xuống, giúp họ tập trung vào cái thế mạnh của họ là các cái nghiệp vụ về mặt bán hàng, còn cái điểm yếu hơn của họ là về mặt công nghệ, về mặt thương mại điện tử, về mặt logistics, về mặt thanh toán. Chúng tôi phải giúp họ nhẹ nhàng ở những cái phần đấy, từ đấy giúp cho họ có thể vận hành các cái business thương mại điện tử của họ một cách hiệu quả hơn.
So in order for the e-commerce to take off, supporting infrastructure like e-payment, logistics should also be developed. So how do you compare Vietnam's supporting infrastructure to other countries?
When we talk about e-commerce, it's impossible not to mention electronic payment and logistics. It's the two key process to support e-commerce transaction. To evaluate the position of Vietnam comparing with the other countries, objectively we say that it's not very high. It's always around the medium position. Mm-hmm. One of the most difficulties in e-commerce is the logistics. In the past, we faced the difficulty of electronic payment. So when we do e-commerce, three things we cannot ignore is online transaction, to provide the online transaction conveniently and securely for customer and for both customer and the sellers. And then we can consider the electronic payment. Over the years, we have successfully implemented online transaction and electronic payment for e-commerce, for most of e-commerce transaction. But we face a challenge in distribution and logistics in general. So when we can sell the product online and get the payment, the sellers and the buyers still face the difficulty to receive the product, especially physical products, in time, right place, and at the right cost, as low cost as possible. In 2014, we have seen a lot of efforts from both business and government to facilitate the logistics in terms of e-commerce. We enjoy the logistic market from several dozens of companies, but we really need leading companies to provide the service as the key leader for the market. That's one of our disadvantages at the moment.
At the moment, Vietnam has been doing quite well in purchasing and selling activities of the value chain of e-commerce. But there are other parts of this value chain that the country has not done very well. So what are the weaknesses of Vietnam in order to be effectively developed in other areas of this value chain?
Because over the years, we focus on so many fields of e-commerce, from infrastructure to the legal environment and training the human resources. Besides, we developed a lot of e-commerce business model. And by scatter or dividing the investment in so many fields of e-commerce, we do not have the key or the leading companies to lead the market to provide the value for the others. One of the weaknesses we can see quite clearly is we lack of high skill and professional human resources specialized in e-commerce. Even universities, colleges, and other organizations try to train e-commerce experts or e-commerce specialists over the years. But by the nature, e-commerce develops quite fast. Mm-hmm. But to train a good professional e-commerce takes a lot of time, because e-commerce is a combination of technology and business and management. And so in order to get a good or to train a good professional in this needs a long time and long-term investment.
2015 is forecasted to be the year of mobile commerce in Vietnam, with the rise of smartphones, mobile internet, and consumers' increasing demand for convenience. According to reports, 36% of the Vietnamese population owns smartphones and 5% own tablets. Joma Bakery Cafe's menu is listed on popular websites, including Foodpanda. Its customers can place an order through Foodpanda's mobile application, and the cafe fulfills the orders and ship it to the customers.
Cái cách gọi đồ ở trên các trang web trực tuyến hay là trên ứng dụng điện thoại di động thì họ cũng có các hình ảnh rất là gần như là rất là đúng đối với các món ăn mà mình gọi về, và họ cũng có cái thời gian giao hàng hợp lý. Thì mình rất là thích khi mà sử dụng trên ứng dụng điện thoại di động. Nó gọn nhẹ, nó tiện lợi, bởi vì là mình thì hay sử dụng mang theo điện thoại bên người. Với điện thoại thông minh, thế hệ thông minh như bây giờ thì mình cũng có hoàn toàn đầy đủ các cái internet.
Mobile transactions also have the advantage of locating customers through GPS, which allows location-based services to reach their customers. The Grab taxi app, for example, allows customers to request rides, locate and communicate with taxi drivers.
Chúng tôi sẽ quét những cái tài xế nào mà gần với khách hàng nhất, và duy nhất là có một tài xế có thông tin của khách hàng để gọi điện thoại tới xác nhận và đến chở khách hàng đi. Còn riêng khách hàng thì họ sẽ được kết nối với tài xế, thông qua là họ sẽ biết được cái biển số xe, rồi số điện thoại với tên tài xế sẽ đến chở mình.
Cái việc mà biết cái số điện thoại tương tác với nhau cũng khiến cho cái việc liên lạc với lái xe có thể dễ dàng hơn. Giả sử như là chúng ta bị quên một cái đồ gì trên xe thì cũng có thể dễ dàng lưu được cái số điện thoại đó để có thể liên hệ trực tiếp với lái xe.
While some e-commerce sites operate solely on mobile apps, many others seek m-commerce as another means to increase sales.
Và về mặt công nghệ thì đi siêu thị sẽ phát triển cái phiên bản trên mobile để cho khách hàng có thể tiện lợi hơn, mọi lúc mọi nơi sử dụng mobile được để mà đặt hàng.
According to the Vietnam E-commerce and Information Technology Agency, 28% of websites visits came from mobile devices last year, but m-commerce only accounted for 13% of transactions. However, experts say that the rising number of smartphones and tablets users increases this market's potential.
So that is the picture for mobile app-based e-commerce in Vietnam. Right now, at the moment, the development of social media-based e-commerce in Vietnam is also gathering speed. Do you think that this trend will continue in the years to come?
It's quite interesting that when we look at the e-commerce over the last few years, we see the development of both mobile commerce and social media-based e-commerce. Because we can see that a customer, when they use mobile devices like smartphone to buy something online, it's quite easy for them to share the information. If they have some good experience, for example, to share with their relatives and friends through the social media like Facebook and the other social network. So mobile commerce is quite developed together with social media. But in Vietnam, we have some problems. Not only the good side of selling something on social network, especially, for example, in Facebook and in the forum. When we advertise and sell some products freely on the social media, we lack of regulation, and that can lead to, beside 1 million of successful transaction, positive transaction, with good quality and service, we have only a few, and even a few is enough to damage the image of e-commerce. If a customer or buyer and seller can do transaction freely on social network, and some kind of not genuine products or bad product and service can affect. So we really need some kind of regulation to regulate the e-commerce activities through the social, free social network-based e-commerce in 2015 or the next few years.
So can you now elaborate on the new policies regulating the e-commerce market in Vietnam?
Looking at the e-commerce over the years, we can see one of the most outstanding successful in implementing e-commerce is in terms of building the legal framework regulating the e-commerce over the last 9 years. We have the laws, electronic transaction laws, quite early. And then we have decree from the government and some circulation from Ministry of Trade and Industry. And two legal documents we cannot ignore is the decree from the government regulating the e-commerce in Vietnam in 2012. And recently we have an update circular from the Ministry of Trade and Industry regulating the selling of products and services through the e-commerce website. And this circular focus on the regulating of one of the key activities focus on the regulating the sellers of products and services through the social network. It is very important for business doing e-commerce in Vietnam at the moment to consider this circular, because now the seller is responsible for their product and services when selling in their website, together with selling on through any kind of social network. And more importantly is the business that provides the environment, like marketplace and social network for the other business to advertise and to sell product, is also responsible for their business customer. So we have business and we have also the marketplace provider, both responsible for the quality and the information in the marketplace.
In December 2014, the Ministry of Industry and Trade issued Circular 47 to further strengthen the booming e-commerce sector. The new circular, which will take effect from January 20th, 2015, prohibits the e-commerce trade of commodities under special conditions. The circular also requires businesses with websites applying auto-uploading filters to closely monitor the content automatically uploaded on their websites to avoid inappropriate feeds. The ministry will also monitor trading activities conducted on social networks with representative offices or branch offices in Vietnam or those with domains ending in .vn. These businesses must register with the ministry and fulfill their tax liabilities.
Anyway, we have the law, but e-commerce needs some kind of supporting and regulating at the same time. It's not regulating and fining the business. We need the direction and support from the government and government agencies. So we hope that with the issuance of the circular in the 2015, we have the guidelines and also the regulation to create a better environment for e-commerce.
So what are your expectations for Vietnam's e-commerce in 2015?
In 2015, we see the market is quite promising because we have good progress over the last years, especially 2014. If we can take the opportunity from e-commerce, we can create a lot of values for consumer, for business, and also from the government agencies. We can cooperate among each other better to increase the revenue, cutting costs, and working together more effectively to providing products and services to the market. And the government can use e-commerce as a motivation for growth in the next few years, the new way of creating the growth model. In 2015, I expect five trends of development. The first trend is the big business enjoy the e-commerce market. We, from the experience of other countries, e-commerce market really need leaders in terms of any sector, from the banks, airlines, travel, and even retailings. We need the leading companies to guide the markets and providing values for the other companies to enjoy and follow, especially providing value for customers, for the market. We also will see in 2015, we see the development of the further development of electronic transaction. And also we hope to see the logistic market will provide better service and more services for e-commerce businesses to fulfill their orders online. Objectively, most of businesses in Vietnam, they recognize the benefit of e-commerce for their own business because they can see two key benefits is cutting costs, increasing their revenue and benefit, besides providing more value for their customer. And the last trend we hope to see in 2015 is the B2B, the transaction between business and business will be invested in depth, more specialized. Business will cooperate further to build their value chains. Some solution provider has been promoting their solution to joining the business market in some business like retailing, like banking, especially in manufacturing. So we hope that business in 2015 and next few years will focus more and invest more in building their business network and to cooperate better.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your insights with us today. Vietnam has the third highest growth rate of internet and mobile phone subscribers in the world, with more than 4 million people using the internet every day, offering great potential for e-commerce development. With Vietnam's unique market and consumers, we are looking forward to a year of rapid growth in terms of sales and development of technological infrastructure and business models. And that wraps up this edition of BizLine. Thank you very much for being with us. Don't forget to log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for other episodes of BizLine. And from our team here in Hanoi, until next time.